Hey everyone, I'm Sonia and this is Sonia's Spotlight. On this channel, I spotlight the vegan community. There are so many wonderful people, places, and things that make up this community, and I'd like to share them with you. If this is something that you're interested in, please keep watching and please consider subscribing. Thank you, and let's get to it. In today's video, we are talking with Erika Hazel, who is the Bizerkeley Vegan on Instagram. She is a vegan entrepreneur, a passionate event planner, and is leading the march for companies to speak up about social injustices. Hey Erika, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Absolutely. So Erika, I know you have a lot of things that we want to talk about, things that you're doing, things that you're about, but let's start with your vegan journey. So tell us about, when you became vegan and just your journey.
Yeah, no, veganism is like one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me. Like, I never, like little Erica, little middle school Erica, probably would have never thought that we would have gone vegan. Like, I went vegetarian a couple times as a kid, and I remember my older cousin Jason would terrorize me and tell me he would tell me that I'm not vegetarian because beans have protein. And so he, as a kid, equated protein to meat. And so he thought beans were meat. Like, we're like elementary school. I was like, no, I'm a vegetarian. I was just so convinced. And so growing up, I had like me personally, I had a lot of weight issues. I was overweight in elementary school. And then growing up, I had a fast foodie kind of diet growing up, but my mom always made home cooked meals. And so fast forwarding to 2015, it was my first time. Actually, no, that's not true. It was my second or third time living on my own. Actually, it was my first time living solo by myself. In an urban area. So for me, it was like living in Berkeley, I was exposed to so much. So for me, 2015 is when I really started dabbling in vegan options and like really like trying to go into the vegan lifestyle. And I finally committed to it in October of 2016. So 2 months away from my 4-year vegiversary.
Yay.
And it's something that I didn't do it cold turkey whatsoever. I was really focused on I wanted a sustainable change. I wanted a long-lasting change because I knew once I jumped into the pool, the vegan pool, I wasn't going to want to get back out. And so I really started by, saying goodbye to the things that I was like, that weren't vegan that I was really involved with. Like honey was a hard one for me to let go. What else was hard for me to let go? Popeyes. Popeyes was really hard for me to let go. But like now I have no desire for it. I have no craving for it. Veganism gives me everything that I want. So it's honestly been like one of the best decisions I've made for myself as an adult. And I'm so happy. And there's so many vegan teenagers nowadays. Like I could have done it before, especially now in 2015, 21st century veganism. You can do it at any age.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important that you mentioned how it wasn't a cold turkey thing for you, because everyone's vegan journey is different. And that's why I like to start with that question too, because, there are people out there who may be gradually going into veganism. Some people might like the cold turkey, path, but I think that it's important for you to mention your vegan journey and how now there's actually a lot more vegan options. And I mean, to me, I think that it's just a lot more easier to go vegan because there's so many options out there.
Absolutely. I think now when I walk into a store, like whether it's Target, you can go to Walmart, you can go so many places, and there's just an abundance of vegan options. And I think one of the coolest parts about becoming vegan is I learned to love cooking. I learned to love grocery store trips. I get so excited, like, what am I gonna get today? Like, I think your life just changes in a way. It's almost like you learn not minimalism, but you just learn to love the simple things. Like I actually love the taste of like a tomato now. Like I really love yeah, just when you start to dive into fruits and vegetables more, you really just appreciate them for the actual flavor they have versus like, I'm going to put it in yogurt and top it with granola. Like you just have such a profound appreciation for fruits and vegetables too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I love it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I read is that, so you're a school counselor and you actually encourage healthy eating with the kids that you counsel. So let's talk about your journey into becoming a school counselor. How did that all happen? And what do you do to encourage your kids to eat healthy?
Yes. So I feel like, so I've been working with children over half my life. I started babysitting when I was like 13, 14 years old, other people's children, not just my little brothers. So I started being a nanny and a child care provider when I was in my teens. And when I graduated from college from UC Irvine, I was like, what am I going to do? I need health insurance. What am I going to do? And so I looked to my old, I guess, alma mater, my Vallejo City Unified School District. And I applied for this new job called the STEAM, which is STEM plus arts. And so I was the STEAM coordinator for an elementary school, as well as like the recess lady. I was the keeper of all the dodgeballs and all that good stuff. And so, I realized with that job, I was doing so many mental health interventions for kids. I was, mediating disagreements on the playground. I was pushing into classrooms and helping kids who couldn't focus on their work and like resetting them back to baseline and getting them back on track. I even had a student who like would roll on the floor in his regular class during spelling tests, but would sit in my office at, next to my desk and like knock his spelling test out. So I was like, maybe I should be a school counselor. This is crazy. So after 2 years of grad school in San Francisco, I got my first job in Richmond as a middle school / high school counselor. I was a counselor for 7th graders to 12th graders. And now it's year 3 at my new school. And I am a TK to 8th grade counselor for 4 to 14-year-olds, which is a huge, huge age range.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the like commandments, I guess, or tenets of like veganism is, food is love, because our food, was never living. It was, it's just food. And so for me, welcoming a child into my office to talk about, what happened at home or what's happening in the classroom or what's happening internally with their feelings and their self-esteem and stuff like that, when I can offer up, whether it's animal crackers that have no dairy or no anything like that in them, or it's just a piece of fruit. Like I've never seen 8th graders fight over pears unless they're in my office, or even just the snacks that I keep on hand that can just make a student feel more comfortable and welcomed in my space to like talk to me about what's going on. I think it's so powerful. And for me to know that like we're both sitting there munching on the same thing is just it's just the cherry on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and I think that, the job that you have right now as a counselor is so important. Mental health as a whole for everyone is important, but especially in those years, right, where you're growing up. And so your job is so important. And I love how you incorporate your vegan lifestyle into that as well. So that way they get exposure to that because, we grew up and we didn't become vegan until we became exposed to it. And so with you exposing them to that now, I think is such a wonderful thing.
Yeah, no, the kids love it. They don't notice until it's too late. They're like, wait, Miss Erika, you're a vegan. You can't eat this. I'm like, it's vegan and you love it. Gotcha. So it's always fun. Yeah, it's so much fun sharing my lifestyle with them because parents want their kids to eat more fruits and vegetables, right? So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. One of the other things that I had read also is that you have a foreign language and it's Japanese. So are you fluent in Japanese, and what kind of pulled you towards wanting to learn that language?
Yeah, that is such an original question. Thank you for asking me that. Yeah, so my older cousin who I mentioned earlier, Jason, like he was my best friend growing up. And so we were really obsessed with like anime growing up. So I was a Sailor Moon junkie
Yes,
and
yes.
and a Sanrio junkie. Like I loved to get my Hello Kitty on as a kid. And so I like was like, where does this stuff come from? And I started researching Japan because I lived at the library as a kid. And so just started checking out Japanese language books at like 10 years old. And then my mom found this program called ATDP, which is co-hosted and run on UC Berkeley's campus. And so I was 13 years old, I think. How old was I? I was in the seventh grade. I was in the seventh grade and I spent my first summer on UC Berkeley's campus learning Japanese in a classroom full of other students. And then I went back, I want to say 10th grade, the summer going into 11th grade, I went back to Cal for my second year of Japanese. So that's how I fulfilled my language requirement in high school. And then for my department, I was a sociology major in undergrad. And so I had to fulfill a language requirement again. And so I took Japanese at the college level. I don't recommend it. It was so fast paced. I fell behind so far. But yes, I just fell in love with Japanese culture, the language. I even teach my students how to write their names in Japanese. As like a, getting to know you activity. And I was actually supposed to go to Japan to teach English after I graduated from college, but I had to have a surgery. So that just threw all my plans off. So I ended up staying here and working in my hometown. But yeah, I would absolutely love to go to Japan one day. I'm terrified to order in Japanese, but I will go and I'll try.
Yeah, that is such an awesome. I mean, and I love it. Like, everyone should be encouraged to learn a foreign language. And again, for you incorporating that into to your counseling with the kids. And I absolutely love that. So let's talking about kids and parenting. So you mentioned in a couple of things that your mom is an activist and that you just adore your dad so much. Can you talk to us about your parents, who they are and how they influenced you in your life?
Oh, those two crazy kids. Yeah, I'll talk about those guys. So, yes. So my parents are a huge influence in my life. They are definitely the people who told me, if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. And they've always supported me. I really wouldn't be able to pull off my vegan events without them, like the Vallejo Healthy Food Festival and all my community events. Like my parents are right there. Even my brothers are right there to help me set up and get things going. And so my mom is a lawyer turned, well, no, I want to say turned educator. She's always been an educator. I was the kid, me and my brothers were the kids who had summer homework from her. We had homework after our school homework from her. And, she enjoyed cussing us out in French because we didn't know what it meant. So yeah, we all speak a different language. My mom speaks French, my brother speaks French, and my other brother, my dad speaks Spanish, and I speak Japanese.
Wow.
So yeah, we all have a little bit of languages going on. And so my mom, has always been like one of my biggest advocates, whether it's in education or forwarding my career. We have taught side by side in multiple classrooms. So it was Miss Erika teaching Monday through Wednesday and Miss Moore Jordan teaching Thursdays and Fridays. So we used to be tag team second grade teachers in one classroom, which was super fun. And then what year was it? 2017, 2018, I got her a job at my school, and she was the AP art teacher at my school. So we were teaching side by side again, and it's so much fun to teach with my mom. She's like the best educator ever. So teaching alongside with her is so much fun. And also she's been self-teaching veganism to herself. She's a true flexitarian, meatless Mondays, tofu Tuesdays. And whenever we eat together, like go out to eat, she always orders vegan with me. I don't ask, I don't, suggest it. She just automatically is like, okay, you're eating vegan, I'm eating vegan.
Nice.
So yeah, she's amazing. And my dad I call him Mr. Vallejo because he's, you know, run for city council. He's on the
Oh,
president of so many, you know, clubs and organizations. And I got my real estate roots from him because he's been a real estate agent for over a decade. And so with him, like I worked for him in high school as his assistant. So like I know how to show houses and I know what a seller's market is
wow.
and all that stuff. And, you know, he, similar to me having my cancer scare in July, you know, he got rid of his cancer last August. So he's been cancer free for a year. And one of my biggest pushes with him was changing his diet, eating healthier. So now he makes sure he has his salad and his water bottle and his smoothie bowls and all that good stuff. So like they're such a huge influence on my life, and I'm so happy that they let me influence their lives too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's it shows in how you care for your kids at the school as well, how you were raised and how, you know, the environments that you've been exposed to as well. So I think that's just, everything just comes together, you know, how we're raised, what happens to us in life, and how we actually portray ourselves in the future. And I just love that. I absolutely love that. So going kind of related to the activism, you had posted a roll call video. So for not everyone on here may be on Instagram, so they may not know about it.
Mhm.
So can we talk about what the roll call video is, what you hope to accomplish with that video?
Yeah. So in May, I posted on Instagram the original like call to action video, which was, I spoke to a couple other people about this, like veganism. I never felt comfortable being completely Black in veganism. Like I never felt comfortable to speak on like the human rights issues that I go through as a human being. Many vegan pages are just like, we're all about food or we're all about the animals and or the environment. And so I didn't feel like my ethnicity had any place in that. And so I got really fed up because my timeline looked really normal on my Bizerkeley page, but on the other Instagram pages that I have, it was what you can do to help protesters, you know, all these different things that were coming to light. You know, my timeline has never looked normal on my other pages, but my vegan page, it was just like, do you guys not get that there's something going on right now in the world?
Mhm.
Um, so I posted my call to action video, which got a lot of traction, and I was able to communicate and work with a lot of companies on getting their posts up, on figuring out how ways to be more social justice inclusive and different things like that. And so the roll call video, which I had planned originally to post Father's Day weekend, then I was going to post it, you know, before my surgery in July. Finally got around to posting it this week, and I think I had one impact. One company did reach out to me to tell me, you know, hey, Erika, thank you so much for calling us in, for holding us accountable. We have officially made Juneteenth a company holiday within our company. So it was really sweet to see that folks did care about being called in to the space of, you know, like, hey, we all need to be a united front against racism, against all the isms, really.
Right.
And so, yeah, it was, I think that's a really good question. Like, what is the impact? And I'm just, for me, is I'm like, I'm really curious what other people who are seeing me post these things, I wonder, I don't even know what they're thinking when they see that stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and so not everyone knows how to, I mean, let's be real, not everyone knows how to be an ally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so putting that video out there and kind of guiding them into, you know, what the action should be is a start, right? Do you have a message for those who, you know, are just now becoming an ally, learning to becoming an ally, or don't know how to be an ally?
That's an excellent question. I think for me, what being an ally It's about appreciation and respect. For me, I feel like I grew up, in the Filipino culture. I grew up in a Latinx neighborhood. I grew up, listening to mariachi bands as a kid. And so for me, like I learned to have appreciation and respect for the people of those cultures. So I
Right.
definitely think like the foundation of being an ally is like knowledge, appreciation, and respect for other people's cultures and to listen. No one, and like one person also doesn't speak for the entire race or the entire culture either. Like I am not the voice of Black vegans. I am one voice in a sea of many Black vegans who have different experiences than I do. And allyship really looks like listening. And if you've done a little bit of research on your own, it's reposting. I think one thing that really struck me about some of my friends from my hometown, because I have a lot of friends who are, Vietnamese, Cambodian, Chinese, Puerto Rican, a lot of different ethnic backgrounds. And I was just like, wow, you're not saying anything on social media. I feel like you don't care about me, because I care about you and I would want to show up for you any way that I could. So I think showing up, whether it's, donating, whether it's protesting, whether it's, awareness, Instagram awareness campaigns are like the least that anyone can do. And I think I saw something on social media that said, if you're afraid to post, things about human rights and Black Lives Matter on your Instagram page, who are you worried that's going to see it? The KKK? Like, it's like,
Right. Yeah.
if you can't donate because we're all in hard times right now, if you can't protest because of COVID and your safety, and it's just not something that speaks to you,
Right.
creating awareness on Instagram, social media, email campaigns within your own family and friend groups is literally the least a person can do.
Yeah. And it's really important to talk about the different avenues, right? Just like with anything in life,
Yeah.
the result is the same and it doesn't matter how you get there, right? So it's important because there are maybe people who aren't really comfortable with going to, protests, aren't really comfortable with speaking, on a video. There's so many different avenues on how to show your allyship. And I think that's really important to say that. So,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think even if you didn't want to go to a protest and you knew someone who was going, you could make signs for them.
right.
And if you can't donate, you can spread it around, hey, there's this donation campaign going on. If you have money, you can always, yeah, awareness and sharing is like, the free thing that everyone can do.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that you're doing to help, the Black community, the colored community is this Bizerkeley Food Fest, and really bringing awareness to, and it's not just that, it's everything, right? It's also supporting all of these vegan companies that are struggling during these times. So talk to us a little bit about that. And then also other things that you have so many things going on. So tell us about the food stuff and everything that you have on your plate.
Yeah, it's so interesting that in this time of COVID, like I've been busier than ever. And so I'm just like, sleep who? Where? What's that? So the Bizerkeley Food Fest was this brain baby that I came up with last year, like around November, December. I've just gone to so many different food fests in Nevada, in Oregon, and here in California, in New Jersey, and so many restaurants around the country that I was like, I've been to food fest. I can do this. I can put on a food fest. There's like I was explaining the other day, like I get this runner's high from being in a giant place full of other people who love food and we're all just like sharing in like this vegan journey and taste testing things. It's so much fun. And so I was working with a local company to host an in-person food festival in their store, for it was supposed to be Memorial Day weekend this year. COVID happened in March, so I was gonna postpone it, I was gonna cancel it, whatever, and I was just like, no, we can't just let this go by. And so I was thinking, I guess, what month was it? I think it was around June or so, and I was like, we could play bingo. Maybe we'll play bingo. I always play bingo. If you've ever been to Sabelle's Front Room in San Francisco, I always play Valentine's Day bingo, or no, getting to know you bingo at my Valentine's Day event that I hold at Sabelle's Front Room. And so I was like, we can play like restaurant bingo. This should be fun. And so, because for me, according to my mother, I was single-handedly saving the food industry because I was going out to eat every single day. Like the first like 2 months of COVID in March and April, I was going out to eat every day, whether it was tacos, whether it was, what else, Sabels. Like I was going out to eat all the time. I think I was just too stressed out to cook. And so for me, I was like, well, you know, San Francisco, someone said San Francisco's lost 300 restaurants, are gone and will never reopen. They're permanently closed. And I was like, hold up, you mean like my kickboxing gym already shut down? I've seen so many gyms in my area shut down permanently. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, what if, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so were not in business anymore? I would lose my mind. So the whole push was like Black-owned businesses. I really want to support Black-owned businesses in this time of a racial pandemic, a racist pandemic, and a, you know, a health pandemic. I wanted to make sure they stayed in business. And some women-owned companies like Easy Breezy and Deliciously Vegan SF, those are women-owned businesses, and just folks of color like the Sarap Shop, who I love, Am Sabor, Taqueria La Veganza. There's so many people who I was just like, these are allies. These are awesome folks who are really feeding our communities and, you know, donating food to frontline workers and things like that. So I really wanted to include them in the festival as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's a wonderful thing that you're doing. And the dates, again, I mean, we do have a video, you and I, on the logistics of the festival, and they can check that out later. But let's talk about the dates. So it already started and it ends September 20th.
Yeah. So plenty of time to get your bingo sheets, going to the brick and mortar restaurants and getting them, downloading them from my website, thebizerkeleyvegan.com, and just play and have fun. Tag us in your food post so we can see and share it with everyone. I can't wait to see more foodie pictures.
Yeah, absolutely. And what else do you have going on? I know that you recently, was it recently became a board member for the San Francisco Veg Society?
Yeah, I kind of left that out. Yes, I'm one of the newly elected board members for the San Francisco Veg Society, and we have the San Francisco World Veg Fest coming up in October. It's going to be an online 4-day event, which is really exciting for me because I don't think it was, what year is this? We're in 2020, so I think it was 2018. I hosted an event for the San Francisco Veg Society at Sabel's Front Room, where we had a roundtable discussion with vegan chefs of color. My friend Alex Tip, he is all about diversity, and so he and I collabed with SFVS, and we had a roundtable dinner with Atlas Monroe, with Kube Nice Cream. We had a really nice dinner where we fed people vegan pizza, and we got to listen to these chefs and all their how they came up with their vegan creations and their vegan businesses. And then I actually spoke at SF World Veg Fest with Alex and Jaguar Baker and Chef Chu from the Veg Hub. We had an amazing panel discussion on veganism and diversity in 2018, and that was so much fun. So yes, SFVS is on my plate now. I write for the Vegan Hood Chefs. I write their blog posts, and I can't announce it just yet, but I have another collaboration that I'm doing with Chef Chu for his vegan meats, which are my favorites. I have like 5 of them in my freezer right now.
So good.
They're so good. So yeah, working with Chef Chu, I'm working on the Vallejo Healthy Food Festival. This is my 2nd year planning the Vallejo Healthy Food Festival, which is also going to be different from the Bizerkeley Food Fest. It's going to be an online event. So that's coming up, and I'm also working with Factory Farm Awareness Coalition on a project as well. I've done a couple of interviews, including this one. A really fun one was with NBC's Jackie Reed. She interviewed me all the way from New York on Zoom, which was really cool. And I'm running out of breath, but what else do we have coming up? Yeah, my plate is so full, I can't even think of everything.
But it's so great. I mean, especially like you mentioned, you know, during this time that, you know, this pandemic, you know, it actually has given us, people have said, the gift of time. And we filled it, right?
Yes. You let any of that go to waste, right?
So, you know, so we're going to go into the segment now that's called Fave 5. And I'm going to go a little out of order, but just feeding off of what we just talked about, how you have so many things on your plate right now. And wonderful things on your plate. What is your favorite form of self-care?
Ooh, my favorite form of self-care. So I think I have two. I've recently gone into this woman. She's a YouTuber, exercise YouTuber. Her name's Chloe Ting. I
Oh,
love her exercises. They're 10 minutes. I get a good sweat, and I'm like, I've never liked exercising, and now I like exercising because of her. And my other one is just finding something good on Netflix or Hulu and having my mango truly in one hand and some vegan popcorn in the other one, and hanging and just kicking back and relaxing. I think that's really good self-care. The only other thing I would say for self-care is going to Vallejo to visit my family, because we just sit in the living room and we talk and we catch up and we find something to eat and we play Scrabble or Uno. We play some board game and watch a movie, and that's like our weekly ritual. So game night with my family is probably like my third self-care thing too.
love it, love it.
Yeah.
Definitely, family QT is super important. So,
Especially in this time of COVID. Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So one of the questions I also like to ask, and really I ask these questions selfishly so I can get to know you guys a little more. What is your favorite comfort food?
That's a loaded question. Okay, favorite comfort food. I don't want any of my food friends to hate me for not saying.
No.
My favorite comfort food is a tie between Sabelle's Front Room's mac and please
Mm,
and basically anything the vegan hood chefs make.
yeah.
I would have to say that, or a soul food plate from the Veg Hub. Those are like my top ones. Oh my goodness, that's such a hard question. Yeah, I'm just gonna name things that I don't cook because I'm not cooking right now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So, with that too, do you have a specific restaurant that's kind of your go-to, your favorite?
Let me think about that. So if I want to have like a really nice, thinking of pre-COVID times, like a really nice vegan outing, I loved Sabor's dinners that they would host. They were so much fun, and just being around other, folks who are interested in plant-based eating, and just like this very, to me, they're like very like fancy cuisine. I love everything that Donnie and Louise produce. If I'm like going out for my birthday, it's always Millennium in Oakland. That is my go-to birthday place.
Mhm.
Sabelle's Front Room in San Francisco for beignets and pizza. That is like my favorite vegan pizza. Taqueria La Viganza for my vegan El Pollo Loco fix. That is always a go-to. And the cheesy kale salad from the Veg Hub is like, it's everything. It's everything. Oh my God, that salad is so good. Yeah, I have a lot. It's for different things. And like for my favorite Thai dish, pad ki mao, I go to White Lotus in Albany on San Pablo. It's like right down the street from me. It's like $12, and you get this like huge serving of flat wide rice noodles with tofu and veggies, and the seasonings are so good. Now I'm gonna go get that for lunch.
There you
Pad
go.
ki mao. That is my like, oh, it's Friday night and I'm not cooking. Pad
There
ki mao. That's it.
there you go. I love it. I love it. Do you have a favorite place that you've visited or a favorite place to visit?
Ooh, oh my gosh. So I'm super upset because this is the first year in like the last 6 years that I have not gone to New York City.
Mm.
Um, every year or twice a year, I make a pilgrimage to New York City, New Jersey, and then I rent a car and I drive down from New Jersey to Washington, D.C. And I think last year I went to New York twice last year. And so I went during spring break, and it's still snowing over there. Oh, and Philadelphia. Philly has some of the best vegan food.
Oh,
No lie. What is that place called? I can't think of the name of it right now, but they make the best vegan waffles I've ever had. It is so good. Oh no, what? Oh, it's in West Philly, I think. Love, 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 love Philly's vegan food options. DC, some of the best vegan soul food I've ever had in my entire life near Howard University. Yeah, so this is the first year I didn't get to make my annual pilgrimage driving from New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, and DC. So yeah, that is my go-to every year. That's one of my vacations.
that sounds amazing. I also wanted to ask, what is your favorite quote, saying, or words to live by?
Ooh, that's a good one. We went over this at work. Okay, so this is something that I came up with. You can feel free to laugh at me because it's kind of cheesy. So my phrase is, don't panic. You have the ability to create solutions with everything you already have. No matter the situation, you will see it through.
I love that. That should be in a poster in front of my computer every day, and also on my fridge as I grab food when I'm panicking.
Oh, my COVID panic purchases, don't get me started. I was waiting those grocery store lines, like, I have to get it. Who knows when the grocery store? I was freaking out. So yeah, same.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. Well, Erika, thank you so much. It's always such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for taking the time to sit with us. And, maybe one of these days we can have Nova do an appearance on the show.
No, she woke up. I think she's right over here. Do you want me to grab her?
Yeah, if she wants to make an appearance, come
She
on in.
does. Oh, say
Hi, Nova. Hi, baby. Everyone, this is Nova. And did you say that her full name is Nova Scotia or no?
That's one of her nicknames.
Oh, okay.
Her government name is Nova Love, and it's so funny because my mom's maiden name is Moore, so I like to call her Nova More Love.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, Nova is 10 weeks today, and she is excited to become a vegan dog. Once we can get her on some vegan grown-up dog food, she's going to be a vegan dog, which we're really excited about because we want to make sure that she's healthy for a long time. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, Erika, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great, wonderful day.
You too. I had so much fun. We have to do this again soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.